All right, everybody, I'd like to welcome y'all to our meeting today. Today is Friday, February the 4th, 2022, at our 10 a.m. meeting. Mr. Lee, would you lead us in the pledge, and Mr. Thomas in the prayer, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
If anybody would want to address the jury, would y'all, Miss Mary, you have the green card? There's some green cards up here. If anybody would want to address the jury about anything. Thank y'all. Okay. Mr. Irvin, Blue Cross update? Where's Mr. Irvin at? There he is.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. This is just a review of the last 6 months or so, mid-year, I guess you could say, of the claims experience, premiums versus claims. And I think you have a little chart like this in front of you. This is just a breakdown of the claims from January of 21 to December, this past December. We don't have January right now. We probably have it coming in our office in the next day or so, but this kind of gives you an idea of where we are at this point. First column that you're looking at is the premium that has been collected so far, or up to December 31st, $2,603,000. All the way to the right, the last column is the total on the claims, which includes medical and drugs. During that same 12-month period is $3 million, almost $600,000. So we're running about 138% above the premium, and it is actually getting a little bit better percentage-wise as the year has gone by. We were up to 168% above premium, and hopefully when they take a look at the numbers probably around May or June, they'll be a little more in line, and we'll have a decent renewal coming up in September 1st, which is the plan year.
Yeah, I noticed we had in January, we had a big $1.5 million claim, a medical claim, and
yeah, and
then
that
it kind of
second
averages out after that.
That second page shows the claims that are over $25,000, and that claim that you're talking about is the top one on that $25,000 and above. Some of these will come off as the year goes by.
There was no way we could, is there any way that, is the federal government doing anything with COVID for us helping out with these claims?
No, not really.
You hear a lot of talk about federal government's trying to help, COVID and.
Well, one good thing about the situation that we have as far as the claims that are over 125,000, and if you recall, we talked about that last year. All claims over 125,000, remember we talked about that, are actually moved over to the reinsurance companies. So it's not going to affect, you can have a $1.3 million claim like the one at the top of the list.
It goes to major medical?
It goes, everything over 125,000 goes to reinsurance. Now, at some point, it may start to affect, but it just like this past year, we were over 100% and we only had a 5% rate increase, 5.3 to be exact. Nobody likes rate increases, but if you can keep them around the 5% area, especially with claims like there are now, I think we're in good shape. But we'll see where those numbers fall, again, somewhere around May is when they start looking at it. Yeah. But those claims, the large claims are 22 claims over 25,000, and those 22 claims total out to 2.7 million. So that's the bulk of the claims right there.
Yeah.
Any questions? Any feedback from your constituents on anything?
I have.
Everybody?
Yeah.
It's all good.
All good? No
Nobody
news,
hit
good
me up
news,
with no
good.
questions.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Irvin.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Woody Daigle? Senator Kennedy's office?
How are y'all doing today?
Good.
Appreciate y'all having me. So yes, I'm the new regional representative for Senator John Kennedy, not Tom, John Kennedy. And so I took Emily Stein's place, and her husband just elected to the state senate. And so the position was vacant about November. I've been in the position since then. What does that mean for you guys? I heard you speak about some federal funding just recently. So for a municipality, for a parish such as this, or something that has FEMA claims in, that are in the claim stage, past the GOSEP stage and so forth, if you are having trouble with FEMA trying to get either, let's say there's no communication, or it's something's been a few months or something you've heard and there's no funds, and we can help facilitate some of that. We can help try and push that through. We can help once the claim has been filed, and if we have people who work on this on a daily basis, and not only DC but also in the state level, we can take that claim and make our contact within FEMA or whatever federal agency that is up in DC, and then we can help try and pull that to the top of the pile and see if we can't get something. Sometimes it's just a matter of drawing attention to whatever it is, and then it gets it pushed through. So for a municipality standpoint, that's something that Senator Kennedy's office can do, and he's willing to do anything we can for his constituents. As you guys probably know, is seeing him on TV and everything like that. It's basically what you see is what you get with him. He shoots straight. He's pretty vocal about trying to help and support his people over here in Louisiana. From a constituents level, what we can do is any issues anybody has with any kind of federal agency, SBA loans, if you're having trouble trying to get a passport. I've gotten multiple passports in the last month, and like I said, they're busy. Everybody's busy, right? And then we have COVID, and there's a lack of people working right now, just in DC, just like there is here. So sometimes it's just a matter of drawing attention to a certain that just needs to be pulled to the top. We've gotten funding for Veterans Affairs, anything to do with Veterans Affairs we can help with. So if you're having issues with something, Medicare, Medicaid, disability, let me know. We have case managers that work round the clock, and we get a lot of things done for people and on a daily basis. So if y'all need anything, come and see me. I'll give you a card. I'll have my card, and it has my cell phone on it. You can contact me at any time. Same with you guys. I'll hand out one to each of you. If y'all have any kind of issues along the line with any of your constituents, anybody in Cameron Parish, and we'll try and do what we can.
I feel like FEMA kind of dragging their feet this time with these claims, storm claims. Look like we've been waiting forever to get notification that we can proceed with a project, or,
Yes, sir.
or even getting money back from claims that's been approved.
I'm seeing the same thing across I have 6 parishes. I cover all the way from Vernon down to Cameron, and then Jeff Davis and Allen as well. And so, I mean, you guys, Calcasieu, Cameron, I'm from Sulphur. I live in Sulphur. My family's from Cameron. I'm a Daigle. Burton Daigle is my great uncle, which many of you probably know Uncle Burton and his family. So when I introduce myself, most people hear Willie Daigle, but it's Woody. My name's Woody. So Willie's a cousin. But no, I'm hearing the same thing across all of them. There's some, and to be honest with you, past hurricanes, what I've seen from a personal standpoint, Rita was different. It was kind of open the checkbook up, and everybody got everything without, and now they're starting to see. Katrina was the same thing. A lot of money went out to this area for those 2 hurricanes, and there wasn't probably as much oversight as there should have been. So now they're starting to throttle that back and be a little bit more speculative on what they're doing. Now, not to say that it's not, it's people need money, and they need money to rebuild, and you can't ask a certain municipalities, once DeQuincy, for instance, they're asking them to foot $1 million for a project. Well, little town of DeQuincy can't do that. They don't have the funds to cover that, and it may be 3 years before they get paid back on something like that. So yes, we are seeing that, but again, our office has those connections inside these federal agencies that we can make these phone calls to see if we can help facilitate that, maybe get that either approved quicker, get the money released. Now, again, it is a federal agency, so sometimes they move pretty slow.
Katie could probably use that.
I'm happy to meet with anybody. Anytime you guys want to sit down and meet, you can give me some information, send me an email or whatever you need to do, and we can help try and, if we need to have a meeting with the people that deal with FEMA on our side, we're happy to do that too.
Sounds good, man.
Thank y'all. Any questions?
Thanks for coming.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Will,
yes, sir.
Be careful who you riding around with.
Yeah, I bring him around because he knows the area, but I don't know if it's a sharp knife I straddle there.
He's a good guy.
He's a transplant, though. He moved out.
Well, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mike Gaspar. Holly Beach Vehicle Ordinance.
Hey y'all, Mike Gaspar from Holly Beach, Cajun Riviera.
I think I seen you on a bunch of little
Well, that's
live
good.
videos.
That works out really good, guys. I wrote down Mr. Willie Daigle's name. That way we can go back to him and get us some funding for some of this stuff. All right. I'd like to begin by thanking the police jury for allowing us to address you this morning. I would also like to take a moment to introduce the Beachfront Development Committee from District 1. We have Dick Burbank, that's our president. Russell Badon is our vice president. Michelle Long, Nikki Long, and myself. Nikki Norman, I apologize, I can't read. And myself serve as board members. Cindy Sneed is the secretary. Craig Broussard, we use Craig volunteers from time to time to participate in special projects. We, the committee, as well as many others in this room, volunteer and serve our beach communities because we all feel we know we can make a difference. We have 4 Facebook pages that we use to spread the word of our efforts and now communicate with well over 5,000 people. The Cameron Parish Beachfront Development District 1 Facebook page has 475 members. The Holly Beach Memories Old and New reaches 2.7 thousand members. Holly Beach Residents reaches 246 members. Johnson Bayou Information reaches 2.1 thousand members. Since July 2021, we have focused on several projects. The Welcome to Holly Beach sign has been completed and installed. We would like to thank all past beach board members, Chenier Energy for their donation, Emily Mott, Cara Bonsall, with the Cameron Parish Police Jury, and community members, Ray Lee Myers, who all made this happen. It's a beautiful sign that will welcome visitors to Holly Beach for years to come. The Energy Transfer Exposed Pipeline on Little Florida Beach has also been resolved, thanks to the efforts by Energy Transfer and several community members to eliminate this eyesore and potential safety hazard. The beach board, Juror Sonny McGee, and our parish crew have worked to clean the porta potties and the dumpsters left over from Hurricane Laura and Delta from the waterways along Highway 27. Currently, Cheniere Energy, along with the Beachfront Development Board, and Craig is working on this, and the parish are working on improving the Causeway Bridge boat launch. Today, we come to address changing an ordinance prohibiting riding of ATVs, UTVs, side-by-sides, golf carts in Zone 2 from a point 1/2 mile east of Barratera Boulevard on the east side to a location 1/2 mile west of Riviera Lane on the west side. Discussions about this ordinance began back in July 7, 2021. Several members from the Holly Beach community addressed the police jury and began discussing several items that had been experienced during the previous few months, but mostly during the July 4th holiday. On the days leading up to the 4th of July, we had several inches of rain, which had caused several issues. We had flooding on the beach, which promoted kneeboarding on the beach. It prevented people from being able to park onto the beach. It created a lot of issues. At this meeting, the police jury suggested to the community members that they address their concerns to the Beachfront Development Committee. It was also mentioned in this meeting that due to Hurricanes Laura and Delta, the police jury board members did not know who the Beachfront Development Committee were or if it even still existed. Michelle Long, the previous secretary, contacted the existing members and created an agenda and set a date to meet. Our police juror, Sonny McGee, was in attendance that day. On July 13th, we all met at the Johnson Byard Community Center, and a meeting was called to order. With 37 visitors signed in, 2 new board members and a secretary were nominated and later appointed by the police jury. We realized immediately following the July 4th weekend, we had a need to educate the public of the existing rules and replace the signs of these rules. The Beachfront Development Committee began the effort to purchase signs and hardware to deploy these signs. With the parish's crew's help, we began setting out the available signs that were held in inventory at the police jury barn. We realized, let me go on the next one. As in all meetings, we asked if there were issues the visitors would like to address. Items that were addressed in this meeting included several issues that were originally brought up to the police jury. Immediately, it was realized that many of the topics discussed did not fall under the purpose of the Beachfront Development Committee. Our purpose is to promote recreational activities. And it was suggested that a subcommittee be created to discuss and address issues for the Holly Beach community. A motion was made to create the subcommittee and was seconded. Cody Norman, Nikki Norman, and Mr. Fred Zag were placed on this committee. The subcommittee began speaking to the residents and landowners. Many topics were considered. The subcommittee picked a site and a date to hold a meeting. The meeting was set for July 24, 2021. The subcommittee began communicating with the community in person and on Facebook. a meeting was held where 65 signed-in community members participated in discussions, and 5 items were selected as being of the most significant. Items were discussed in detail and voted on by all the attendees to take back to the Beachfront Development Committee, who would therefore bring it back to the police jury while we're here today. For your information, the western beaches are divided into 5 zones. I will discuss 1 and 2 today. I will begin in Zone 1. The question came up, why can't we travel on the beach in Zone 1? Well, Zone 1 several years ago was selected by the state to pump millions of tons of sand from the OCS waters onto the beach to protect Highway 82. Part of this effort required Cameron Parish to create laws and ordinances that reflected state laws that prevent unlawful vehicles from entering this area. The Beachfront Development Committee adopted a footprints-only rule for this Zone 1. These laws remain active to date. Along with this effort, Zone 1 has also been found to attract various migrating birds, and the Audubon Society has been monitoring these birds and nesting sites. The Beachfront Development Committee, along with the police jury, recently placed signage on the beach at the above described line at Zone 2, informing the public of this restricted area. No vehicles beyond this point. The sign also includes a notification of the protected birding area. This area runs along Highway 82 and presently has several breaches in the original barrier or fencing. These breaches have evidence of vehicle traffic entering this area. We are asking for assistance from the police jury in closing these breaches. Fact, from this area, many tons of sand have washed to the west and can be found in Zone 2, as well as across Highway 82 into the marsh. Area 2. Area 2 goes from a point 1/2 mile east of Barataria Boulevard to a point 1/2 mile west of Riviera Lane. The item that came up in this meeting was flooding on Egret Street. The new sand change in elevation prevents the natural flow of rainwater from escaping the low areas on and around Egret Street. Russell Baton explained that the Drainage Board is working on this and explained that the Drainage Board meetings are open to the public and suggested all interested parties attend this meeting. Due to the new downdrift sand, it is absolutely impossible for two-wheel drive or passenger vehicles to access the beach. The visitors have no other choice but to park on the streets within the community. They are parking on and around private property, blocking driveways and property access. The Beachfront Development Committee and the subcommittee will be asking for ideas from our groups and suggestions to address this issue. We're already working on that. The dumpsters. Everyone in attendance that agreed that the dumpsters are essential and required to provide a location for the public to visit the beach to place their trash into these receptacles. We asked for a show of hands for a vote, and we counted 60 hands. Some folks had both hands raised. However, due to the abuse and the stench that these receptacles give off, no one wanted these receptacles near their property. The decision was made to remove the dumpsters and have them returned only for the summer months. We need some suggestions from the police jury regarding this issue. The increased dump hours were appreciated, and we ask if this can be expected again this year. No, we will use our Facebook pages to send out new dump hours and information and encourage all residents and landowners to utilize the dump for all trash. We want to get the message out that it's important to refrain from using the dumpsters for our trash and to leave that space in the dumpsters for the beach visitors. Enforcement of the rules in the community and on the beaches. Stop signs, speeding, underage or unlicensed drivers, loud music, all hours of the night, loud vehicles, glass containers, litter, stay off the dunes. The Beachfront Development Committee has been and will continue to post the rules and remind the expected visitors that we do have rules. The businesses and rental owners will be asked to participate in the education to the public as to the rules and to pass out the rule pamphlets. We are asking the entire community to spread the word. We, the community, along with the Beachfront Development Committee, would like to be able to add signs to the 10-mile-an-hour speed limit signs and to the area signs that say strictly enforced. We are asking the Cameron Parish Police Sheriff's Department, what can we do to assist in getting them the resources they needed to assist us in making a very public statement. If you come to Cameron beaches, you will be expected to comply or you will be issued a citation. We asked the Sheriff's Department to write tickets instead of warnings so that the word will get out that Holly Beach will be a safe place for all. I, self-proclaimed Facebook person, have been on Facebook and brought the rules to the public. And that effort will continue for many months to come. Then we get to the topic that I think everybody was under the impression that's all we came here to talk about.
Yeah, because we're about to tell you what, we done
That's what we were told.
Well, y'all asked
No,
us
you
to
can
come
go ahead,
back.
go ahead and talk.
Okay, come. Anyway, removing Rule 6 from the brochure in Zone 2. Several years ago, the ordinance number 14-60, speed limits for beach areas, was modified to prohibit ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, three-wheelers, etc. from the area. Since the Louisiana state law is 10 miles per hour on all beaches, there was no need to have an ordinance prohibiting ATVs, UTVs side by side. When this law was implemented, we were driving El Caminos, Vegas, Ramblers, on and up and down the beach repeatedly. We had cameras that required photo development that took several days to process. We also carried beepers. Those days are long gone. We now have the ability to video people who violate the laws, as well as call the sheriff deputies to assist us in keeping Holly Beach safe. Because of the sand, we can no longer drive passenger vehicles that are not four-wheel drive onto the beach, much less in an east to west direction. An opportunity for a wrecker or winch truck has never been so great. If community members have an issue with speeding on the beach, putting up roadblocks such as this ordinance wouldn't solve the problem. Enforcement is the answer. Speeding on the beach is the issue, not the type of vehicles that are allowed onto the beach. If the 10-mile-an-hour speed limit, underage licensed, unaccompanied drivers, and staying off the dunes is enforced, this alone would be the deterrent that is needed rather than eliminating ATVs, UTVs, and side-by-sides. It was voted on by the subcommittee, the Beachfront Development Committee, to petition the police jury to lift this ordinance. And then we reached out to our Facebook followers. The results were over 350 comments with a unanimous 99.99% voted to remove this rule and amend the ordinance to remove this restriction. we do realize there is opposition from our governing body and enforcement into this matter. Immediately following that July 4th weekend, an effort to get control of the unlawful activities that I am sure the Cameron Parish Sheriff's Office received many, many complaints. The officers on duty began implementing a rule that had not been enforced in years, coming to a complete surprise to the community. The inconsistency of this enforcement is what added to the need for education and reposting of the rules. The rule and the ordinance only apply to Zone 2, not Zone 3, where the officers were also enforcing the rule. Lastly, due to the downdrift migration of the sand into Zone 2 from Zone 1, the need to access the beach with side-by-sides for beach-related activities, to clean the beach, to allow access for handicapped and elderly visitors, and our landowners. We asked the police jury to consider amending this ordinance in Zone 2. We, as the Beachfront Development Committee and members of the community, are committed to and look forward to partnering with the police jury to make a difference. Thank you.
So what you actually want? You want to work with the sheriff, and
That's
you
right.
want to let vehicles on the beach?
That's right. We're gonna reach out to the public and let the people know that we have rules. And we're gonna go on Facebook and we'll let everybody know what the rules are regularly. We're gonna have the community. We're gonna pass out the pamphlets that we're gonna get printed up again, just like the old pamphlets we have. Several of our access areas going onto the beach have the blue signs. Well, the blue signs are really not even accurate. They put up signs from Zone 1 over to Zone 2. We put up a bunch of do not speed. We put up 10-mile-an-hour speed limit signs with the police jury. We put up no littering. It's a crime to litter. We put dune signs up. So we're real active in our community to make sure that everybody knows the rules. We felt that the hurricane wiped out a lot of our signs, and
It did.
not everybody knew what the rules were. But we've taken it upon us as a group to make sure everybody understands what the rules are. And what we're asking the sheriff to do is make a statement. If we start giving tickets, the word's gonna get out pretty quick. If they can let us know, we'll publish what tickets were given out on those beaches. And we're gonna get the old feeling that whenever we came to Holly Beach, we knew we had to act right.
Maybe the sheriff can commission you, maybe. Give you a badge.
I'll do it.
There you go.
I'll do it.
Has your committee given that information over to the sheriff's office?
Say that again, Mr.
Have you
Sutton.
given this information to the sheriff's office?
We've had some communication with the sheriff, but I don't think he understood. We didn't have all of our ducks in a row from everything that we were doing. That's the reason I didn't come to the last meeting, because I was not prepared and didn't want to waste y'all time.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're here today with this from everybody. I'm just the messenger on this.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mike, thank you.
I got something to say.
Oh, go.
I was born and raised in Cameron Parish, and I fished that beach many, many, many times. And that beach used to be a half a mile out there. And for the hurricanes and people driving on that beach is all the way up to the road now, especially if you get past Holly Beach.
I see.
I fish that beach still, and I walk to that beach. I don't see a reason for anybody, we talked about this before, many, many times before, about telling these people that they can't speed on the beach. And what happens is, they speed on the beach. We've talked to the campers about parking on the beach. Don't dump your sewage on the beach. I stood on someone's porch one day and watched them dig a hole and dump their sewage on the beach, then cover it back up. I've seen people drive off and leave their trash all over the beach. And that's people that don't live down here. That's people that don't live in Cameron Parish. there's no reason for us to allow these people to come down here and destroy Cameron Parish. We got a problem now with the water coming back up on the beach, all the way to the road. And the more vehicles that drive on that beach, there's more damage it's causing that beach. That's all I got to say.
There was a lot said there, but I wanted to be clear. I was asked to look at a provision of your ordinance by the beachfront committee. Your ordinance, it's section 14-60.
They have a copy.
Okay, and what we were asked to address was that, my understanding was the beachfront development board was going to ask to amend that ordinance to allow vehicles to drive in that area that now they're prohibited from driving. Most of the beach has a 10-mile-an-hour, but that 1 mile east, basically Holly Beach, you cannot drive a vehicle right now on the Holly Beach area. So if you wanted to do that, you would just have to delete that provision of your ordinance. You'd have to advertise it and give the public a chance to comment, so forth and so on. But it would be it would be 14-60, A.11. And I think I provided that to you staff in the event that that's what you want to do. You just delete that, and then anybody could drive, but it still would be a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit.
So Tom, basically, we would be accepting the state's rules, again, on that section of beach.
Well, you have your own ordinance that imposes that speed limit, but then you would be allowing vehicles to drive in that area of Holly Beach on the beach that they're not allowed to right now. Yeah, but there would be rules, right, but at 10 miles an hour.
Does that ordinance address the off-road vehicles that are not licensed?
It allows
Such as golf
any-
carts?
any vehicles. Okay. Basically, we define it as, I think, motor vehicles and off-road vehicles. I think that's how the state statute, so your off-road would be your typical four-wheeler, side-by-side. It could be a golf cart, but any type of vehicle could be driven on the beach at 10 miles an hour, except in that area of Holly Beach, as of now. If you wanted to allow them to drive, then you just have to amend your ordinance accordingly.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Yes, if you want to come up and fill out a card. I didn't realize you had one. You didn't, it wasn't up here, so, Mr. Broussard. That's fine. You could, thank you.
I appreciate the chance to talk. My name's Craig Broussard. I'm a Holly Beach resident, and just wanted to add some content to what's being discussed. What everybody, what people need to focus on, that we're only talking about Zone 2. That's right in front of Holly Beach, half mile, boom. And currently there are vehicles on those beaches. It's allowed today. If you're a licensed vehicle, you can drive. There is a county road on the beach, an official county road. So those vehicles, we're not talking about any restrictions there. What I want to do is just bring out some facts of where we are today. And the fact is, the vast majority of the residents of Holly Beach have golf carts, side-by-sides, four-wheelers. And what our number one priority here is, I'm trying to come up with solutions to, this has been a problem for a long time, and y'all all know it. It's been discussed and discussed many times during these police jury meetings. The priority here is human safety. Absolutely we turn in people left and right during the summer to Ron, and he takes good care of us. The next is environmental preservation. We want to keep the beaches the way they are or better. We want to leave them in better condition than when we got there. And then two, we want to obey by all the laws and regulations. We have a hard time. The goal is to make our visitors obey the law and the ordinances. Well, it's hard for us to get them to obey the rules and regulations when we don't do it. We all have side-by-sides. What do we do out there? Mike did a good job of, covering all the other issues, but what we're doing with those vehicles is we're pulling out visitors. We're assisting Audubon with putting up signage and fencing around the bird sanctuaries and stuff like that. And we're helping, some of the visitors we're helping is as far away as Canada, France. Just last 2 weeks ago, I pulled out a couple from France that was touring through the area and got stuck. So that's what we're doing with our four-wheel drives and four-wheelers and side-by-sides and stuff like that. And we're picking up trash. You know, we can't count on the parish to pick up the trash. We have citizens in Holly Beach that constantly, we got patrols that just go through and pick up all the bottles, the debris that, you know, the people don't put in the dumpsters and leave behind, and there's plenty of that. And then the stuff that comes in off the ships and as well. So, I mean, we've presented a solution to the problem. We think it's a good solution. It keeps us honest. It keeps, you know, the good people good, and we take the bad people and write them tickets and get them off the street. So, you know, we've come up with a good solution. What I challenge you is if you don't like it, come up with a better one, or, hey, let's have dialogue until we can land on one. So just ask for an open mind and continue working. And also, while I'm up here, I am working on the boat launches. I've got really great news I hope to be able to present at the next meeting. So look forward to it. Take care.
On the boat launches, have you found some inflammable wood to put on the boat launches?
Yeah, you notice those holes? Death traps. Somebody put a rock over the top of the hole to solve the problem. Now, those are getting fixed, and it's all going to be refurbished. All they're grading currently as we speak, all the rock. We're going to clean all the debris. We're putting up a new sign. We're getting Jeff Davis to donate. If you notice, the power stops about a quarter of a mile from the bridge. They're going to extend 8 poles out and put a security light for at night. So we got some really good things, and Chenier has been gracious enough to help us with a sign, and it's going to be really nice. By the way, it's the only boat launch in South Cameron Parish. And I'll be working on that issue as well. We need to get the other ones open back up. So thank y'all.
I got
Branch
a
in here is
question.
open.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
Mr. Broussard, if I'm getting this right, y'all want us to lift the amendment to let people drive in front of the camps, the houses, on the beach?
In the front with our golf carts, side-by-sides and stuff like that to pick up. A lot of people go fishing. They got they got rod holders on their 4x4s and stuff like that.
So what about vehicles?
Currently, right now, that's illegal for a 4x4 to go fish on the beach with a rod holder.
So is vehicles allowed on that part?
It is allowed. Vehicles, licensed vehicles.
So
What we're asking
you're having to
for-
pull them out, and every time they get bogged and they disturb the sand and the high tide comes in, it erodes out, right?
Right.
That sand's gone.
Well, it covers.
It's already coming up to your camps now, right, the water?
Hang on,
We're
Mr.
not
Close.
we're not, in Holly Beach, we are not losing beach.
You're not losing
Yeah,
beach.
it's not the beach issue, it's a safety issue. And it's been a safety
Right.
issue, especially around the 4th of July, when everybody's on the
Crazy.
beach. They got people that are not licensed driving 4x4s and four-wheelers, and they're speeding and they're doing all sorts of
No
things.
matter what.
So we've had the issue, and then the sheriff's defense, he shut it down for the safety of the people.
Correct.
And my question would be, and it's not an erosion issue, would be if the sheriff has had a chance to review what you've asked, and if he wants to make comment, or does he need more
No,
time?
Sheriff, he's got a,
Last month, too. The sheriff was here last month.
yeah.
Yeah, I did, well, I wasn't, because I was out with the COVID. So what did the sheriff say?
Well, he's gonna talk again. Mr. Ron's gonna talk
Oh,
again.
Ron's gonna talk,
The
okay.
key,
Yeah.
the key is enforcement. I mean, we're trying not to punish good people.
Yeah.
Let's punish the bad people.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think if we have dialogue, we
Yeah.
can come to something. We just keep
Sheriff.
working towards it.
Hey, and I'm agreeing with that, Greg. I'm agreeing with that. I think the people that live there should be able to get on that beach, and they clean it, they keep it clean. They do, they go out there after all them people leave, and they pick all that trash up. You do. I agree with that. The problem with it is the other people that go there and destroy that beach.
Well, and then that's where we need Ron's help.
And the same, and you say it's not eroding, but I have to disagree with you, because all the sand that they spent $40 million from the jetties all the way back, it's going away. Guess where it's going? It's going west.
We
And
need
that's
more
why your
rocks,
beach
though.
hasn't gone away yet.
We need more rocks.
Thank God we're all here to work together. The beach committee people and the people that reside on the beach, these are good people. We've been talking to them, we've been working with them for the last year, and they're not lawbreakers, they're good people. And look, they're putting a lot of effort into getting the beach the way that it's supposed to be. It cannot only be the beach committee, it's got to be the sheriff's office and the police jury and the beach committee and the citizens. I loved your presentation, Mike, and Mr. Broussard, thank you so much for that. I loved your phone call the other day. I got the email. The beach committee visited me last year. Thank you for that. They're right. I've only got a phone call from one citizen that is the opponent of the vehicles on the beach. I'm going to be as brief as possible. But most of the phone calls and correspondence I got is for the vehicles to be on the beach. Now, with that being said, the reason for this ordinance was for safety. I think that it is the responsibility of the sheriff and the police jury to make these beaches as safe as possible. The reason, like you know, this area is because it was so crowded, so congested at one time. There was so many camps and places on there. Now there's not as many. The people that they're talking about having the four-wheelers out there and fishing and such, that's true. And I love this community for that, to us to be able to do that. But if we allow them to do that, then everybody else is going, it's a state beach. Like Curtis and I has talked about, everybody else can do that also. And there's where the enforcement comes in. Now we're in the, when I stepped in as sheriff, we had 75 employees. Now we have 95. And we don't write warning tickets. We write tickets. We used to have one lady taking care of tickets and warrants. Now I have 3. We have another lady just in tickets. The DA's office probably wants to know when we're going to stop that. But that's not on the beach. That's parish-wide speeders. And I love our beaches. I told you last time I was here that we see, Mary and I have been to beaches from Galveston to Florida, overseas, where there's no vehicles on the beach and there's no problems. There's no safety issues that we've seen. Now, that being said, when Mike called me up the other day, I see their perspective. Sometimes the only way to get there is on the beach for the vehicles on the beach. You know, my perspective is it got so bad, like my constituent called, it got so bad that we had to go ahead and enforce the enforcement isn't inconsistent. It's listening to what the people has to say. When we get these complaints about it getting out of hand, then you have to shut that down. And then it becomes a matter of what the police jury decides and the beach committee decides. I want to tell you, I can certainly see both sides. And I want to tell you, I'm here to, we're going to abide by whatever the police jury decides and we'll gladly do that. We'll handle it whatever way you decide. The reason is for that, it's not that we're singling out Holly Beach. That ordinance is not singling out Holly Beach. It's Rutherford Beach is a different thing. The other beaches, your beach over there, Mays Beach, is a different thing, Sunny. But it's so congested there. And there's so many people there sometimes in the height. And last time I come and asked y'all to keep it like it was. And right now they can't get to it. Mike had called me the other day. if a two-wheel drive vehicle can't get to it. And it lies in the balance there that now we have to decide what to actually do. And it's a tough decision. That's why I told you last time, when I retire, I'm not gonna run for police jury. But, but there you go. We're gonna work with it one way or the other. I am against it, although I do love these people that's come talk. Thank y'all for doing that. Thank God we live in America where we can come here and talk to our members of the police jury and our legislatures, and that's what it's about. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Sheriff. Mr. Mike, are you speaking just for beachfront development? Are you speaking just for Holly Beach or Mays Beach? 'Cause I know there's other people about like Mays and wherever else it's prohibited.
I think the issue.
The ordinance
Is this
just
the
for
whole
Holly Beach.
thing?
It's just zone two.
The reason I didn't come to the last meeting was because there was a part of that ordinance that involved Johnson Bayou. And I wanted to go back to the Beachfront Development Committee and make sure that that area of Johnson Bayou that they're talking about, we didn't want to remove that from the ordinance also. The ordinance only,
That's fine. If you only want to do Holly Beach, I mean, that's good. I mean,
I live in Holly Beach. I'm a landowner in Holly Beach and a resident of Holly Beach. And I'm also in the Beachfront Development Committee. But I'm addressing what the Holly Beach Subcommittee brought up to the Beachfront Development Committee, and that was that ordinance.
that's it.
The Beachfront Development supports their decision for Holly Beach.
Just Holly Beach, not where
Yep.
Sunny and Tad.
If they want to speak to some of them here, but they support it.
You didn't fill a green card out, but I guess I could let you talk. Come on, you come talk. No, come on, you can talk. Come on up, though. Come on up.
I'm Cody Norman. I'm on the Holly Beach Committee, it's a subcommittee. And I speak to every owner in Holly Beach. We live in Holly Beach. We drive on the beach every day. Everybody's correct by a two-wheel drive not being able to get on the beach. The sand is backed up. The entryways, you can't even drive past the portalets, much less on the beach, unless you have a four-wheel drive. A lot of people go to the beach to see it. They're blind when they get there and they have no idea what they're fixing to drive on. Boom. They get to the portalet and they're stuck. First person they come see is me. My house is one block back. If we put up four-wheel drive signs and we have people that watch the beach like we do, if we see somebody acting a fool, we're gonna call the sheriff or go stop them ourselves for the safety of our neighbors and people that we have there. But the amount of sand that's on that beach is not the sand that was on the beach 30 years ago. We have sugar sand, and it's that deep. Elderly people can't get to the water. Young people can't get to the water without some kind of four-wheel drive. That's why we're asking, going through all this trouble, to be able to get people from point A to point B through this deep sand. That's basically all I got to say.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We good?
Yep.
Everybody good?
You got
I
one?
don't have a green card. I was late because I got stuck on the ferry. But if you don't mind, can I say something really quick?
I guess so. Come on up here. This is America. Now, the other Joe, there's going to be a new president after a while now. He may not let you. The next one may not let you do this. So.
I got stuck on the ferry. Somebody's truck got stuck on the grading, so
Oh, okay.
I was running late. But I'm a resident of Holly Beach. I have 4 kids. 2 of my kids go to school, 2 of them don't. We love the beach. But for us physically to get out to the beach with 4 kids, lawn chairs, blankets, towels, lunch, that's not feasible at all, guys. It's just not carrying just me by myself and my kids. Everybody in the community, I mean, you pass by houses out there, everybody has a side-by-side. We've been doing it for years. It just makes it so much more easier, convenient for everyone. As far as vehicles go, vehicles get stuck out there on a daily basis. I get knocks at my door every day. It's much more convenient. And then I'm going to tell you the opposite side of it. I run Holly Beach Cottages. Most of you guys know that. I'm willing, and a majority of the renters out there are willing to post you guys' rule sign. If I catch a tenant not obeying the rules, you guys stop them, the sheriff's department stops them, writes them a ticket, they go on my ban list. The guy last year, And I'll admit it, they were renting from us, from a camper. He flipped his side-by-side on the beach. He did. He was intoxicated. He got hauled away to jail. And guess what? Still to this day, he sits on my ban list. It's about enforcement. If us as renters that rent out their stuff can help enforce for you guys, I think it's gonna go a long way, and I really do. It just, nobody knew the rules, even though it was posted there. Since 2012, we've been out there, taken the side-by-side to the beach multiple times and never really had an issue. But it's much more convenient for us. But just know, even y'all's renters, people that rent out there, we are on you guys' side. We want to help you guys enforce it. It just, we don't feel that the good should have to suffer for the bad, is pretty much what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
All right?
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
letting
Thank
me
you.
speak.
Yes, ma'am, you're welcome. Thank you.
Cassandra Corner.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Last call. Okay, moving on. Thank y'all. All right, Mr. Logan Pruitt, property insurance.
Mr. Scott,
Hey, B.
before, this isn't on the voting agenda, so if you wanted to add it to the voting agenda, then you need to do that now. And if you're not
Sonny?
ready to make a decision, then.
Want to add it to the agenda?
Say what now?
You want to add it to the agenda?
The,
If you.
the ordinance for
The
the
ordinance, yeah.
driving?
Change.
I think it's on the agenda, isn't it on the agenda? Isn't that 15? No, that's Grand Lake.
No. Don't you have to go out for advertisement
Yeah,
after
would
that?
only be authority to advertise to remove that portion from the ordinance.
That's not
Yeah.
what's on the agenda, right?
No, sir.
Y'all ready to discuss it? If y'all ready to discuss it, we can put it on the agenda.
If y'all want to discuss it and put it on next month, we can put it on next month too. It's up to y'all, whatever y'all.
Well, we need to get it done before the summertime, but, we want to get it done as quick as possible if we're gonna do it. But if we all want to discuss it, are y'all ready to talk about it, or y'all ready to vote on it, or? If y'all are, we'll put it on there.
I'm good if you good.
I'm good, you good, whatever you want.
Yeah, we'll add
Whatever
on.
you want to do.
We'll do an add-on.
All right.
Okay.
And it's going to be to remove that one section. I'll read it.
That's what you want, son?
I think so. I want to talk to the sheriff. I hope the sheriff sticks around after the meeting. I'd like to talk to him for a minute. Would you stick around after the meeting so I can have it, we can visit? Sure. Okay, thanks.
I do have just one question for, since everyone's here. Is there a room for compromise? I mean, are you asking for your tenants that are gonna rent for tourists, or are you asking for yourself? Because if you're asking for yourself, is there room to maybe do like a permitting system where you show proof of ownership and you're allowed a permit?
Oh, we
to
can't
rent
do that.
entity, but someone
You can
from
get sued
up
over
north
that.
Came in just for the weekend would not be allowed? I mean, is that a compromise you're willing to entertain, or is it mainly you're wanting to rent your place out and people bring in and ride the beach and everything? Okay.
That's just,
I think it'd be,
Can I address that? The reason for a lot of this was because of the confusion of what the rules really were. So it makes it almost impossible for the sheriff to enforce it.
that'd be really confusing.
So, yeah, just the whole thing,
Yeah.
you know, because it's too confusing, just like between area 2 and 3. I mean, there's an imaginary line out there that tells you, oh, wait, I can't drive that far. You know, I mean, it's too, you can't.
That's fine.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we'll put it on.
okay.
So it's going to be to remove section A.11, and what you're removing right now, it says Holly Beach area, off-road vehicles or vehicles without a valid license are prohibited from a point 1/2 miles east of Barataria Bay and beach post number 1 on the east side of Holly Beach to a location 1/2 mile west of Riviera Lane, Parish Road 513 and beach post 30 on the west side of Holly Beach. You're gonna remove that, so any vehicle is gonna be allowed to drive on that part, correct?
What I understand.
So unlicensed
Any
vehicles,
unlicensed, yes.
Yeah, golf carts,
Vehicles
whatever.
are-
carts.
everything, four-wheelers and all.
Yep.
They can.
I mean, we do that in other areas.
state rules is
Uh,
in effect.
one question, does our ordinance allow for the sheriff in emergency times to shut down the beach if necessary? It doesn't?
I think that's a state.
The sheriff has authority in emergency situations to shut down a road or do whatever he needs to do to safety of the public. So, emergency, I mean, what,
Could that be used in this situation if he was unable to control the situation and he decided to?
he can make that decision, yeah, he can make it anytime.
Okay, just want to make sure that the sheriff has that authority if he needs to use it.
The sheriff has authority to shut down motor vehicles for the safety of the public under whatever emergency situation
Okay.
it is.
trying to get both sides here.
That's kind of like, I guess that would be kind of like if you had back in the day when we used to have street dances or a festival where they'd shut down a section of road. And that's basically.
You have a permit, and then you have to test it, and that's all planned.
Oh, okay.
An unplanned event, unforeseen, that emergency situation that causes safety hazard
Oh, yeah.
problems to the public, that immediate action has to be taken at the moment by the law enforcement agencies, our sheriff, who have to make that decision on that moment.
Glad I ain't got no beach in my day.
Okay, so no wording change would be necessary for that? Okay,
Oh, you good?
yeah, I'm good.
Y'all good? Okay. All right, let's move on. Mr. Logan?
Well, it's both of us this morning. Good morning. So we come with good news and bad news. At this time of the year, we have our wind policy coverage, which covers all of our municipality buildings. It renews in February every year. So we've been working on this several months to try to get bids and people to bid the job out. The two that we received were for more premium, less coverage. The current policy that we have in place is through AmRisc, and they are no longer going to renew our policy as well as others throughout the state and around. So we are wanting to request that you guys give us permission to make adjustments to buildings that are substantially damaged, that do not, if they have $700,000 worth of coverage, but they're not worth that because they still are gutted or they do not have electricity or other things, we want to adjust that coverage at this time. So that, and we're looking at getting Waterworks pulled out of our blanket policy and having their own umbrella policy for coverage that works for them. So Lords of London was probably the best one out of them so far, but they definitely will not cover the current, like we currently have it, which is about $60 million in coverage on wind alone. So we're making these requests today. We need to be able to, AmRisc has allowed us to extend our policy from the 16th through the 28th of this month, so that we can make these adjustments if y'all allow us to do so, so that we can come up with something better. Because what we've been doing in the past, since the storms now, is not going to work. No one wants to write $60 million worth of coverage on the Gulf Coast. So we're just kind of at a standstill at this moment. We would normally be bringing you renewals, but that's not what we have today.
So if we bust them up and we have each entity library, say the
And
waterworks and stuff, that's smaller policy, possibly we can get some quotes on that?
Yes, and what we currently have right now for Waterworks, what I have learned over this time with the storms, it really doesn't work for them. We have several entities that may have a well site that's covered for $180,000 worth of coverage, and just in wind. And they don't have a structure, a building there, it's just maybe a control panel or something else. If they get struck by lightning, which wind covers, but it may not be enough to make the deductible. So they're eating that every time something like that happens. So there are policies out there that are designed specifically for waterworks, electric companies, and things like that we're looking into because we want to get them something that works for them. And then when storms hit, flood water comes in and your wind coverage says, oh, that's not wind, it's flood. And then they don't have buildings for some of these locations, so they don't have flood policies. It's just what has worked for us in the past is not going to work for us now. So we need to make these adjustments. And then when these buildings are rebuilt or repaired, or we decide to tear it down, then we can at that time, we can cover it for what it needs to be covered for. But right now, those buildings, and there's at least 10 of them that are substantially damaged, that the insurance needs to be adjusted on those outright. And there's several other locations that, even on the waterworks side, where we could adjust those, adjust their coverage to what fits better for them.
So y'all want more time?
We want you guys to extend the policy with AMRIS from the 16th of this month through the 28th. We want y'all to consider giving us permission to accept Lords of London with the amendments that we're going to make. And
You gonna get with them, Katie? Or you have
But
any-
you'll get back with us with the quote.
yes, and by, the wind policy is going to expire on the 28th, so we want to have something in place and make any amendments and adjustments at the March meeting.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Okay, so do we?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank y'all. Thank you very much for
It was
having.
supposed to be your show anyway.
That's okay, no.
Yeah.
Wendy and I work well together. We really do. Our focus is watching out for the taxpayers of Cameron Parish. That's our job. That's everyone's job. We have had insurance coverage, property insurance, not flood insurance, I'm talking about wind primarily, with AmRisk for 10 to 11 years. I went back and looked. AmRisk, I didn't realize it, back in 10 to 12 years ago, the Cameron Parish Police Jury property schedule was about $7 million. It's 60 now. It's grown. Obviously, y'all have got big, beautiful buildings. Every year, Louisiana Companies, as your agent, goes out into the marketplace. We got to. That's what we do. We put together a bid package. We start 90 days before the expiration, which is in February 16th. Let other companies look at it. AmRisk has always been the best market. AmRisk has decided they're not going to continue to write catastrophic coastal property. It's not just Cameron Parish, it's any entity that's located around the Gulf Coast. They're saying we're not renewing. We've pinpointed for the big buildings who we want to write the coverage with. It's Lloyd's of London. It's Lloyd's of London. But what we have not finalized is what the total stated values are going to be, because we're making amendments. Like Wendy said, if we have a building sitting there and we have $700,000 of coverage on it, or that's what we had when Hurricane Laura hit, and it's gutted, and it roof's bad, or the roof's good, it's not worth $700,000. We want to reduce that amount. That's why we're coming to y'all to say, yes, structure the program the best way possible. That might mean spin the water districts off, let them have their own little policy. The other buildings, the jail, the courthouse, the annex, all of it might be on one policy. We're trying to structure it the best way that meets each district's need, because I can tell you, the coastal property market is not good right now. It's not good. But we have companies to write the coverage. We're not having to go back to Louisiana citizens, because at this point, they're not a viable option. We have better alternatives. There are entities that have no choice but have to go to Louisiana citizens. We're not one.
Do what y'all gotta do, that's all we can.
We talk daily. We really do. And we don't have anything going on. I mean, this is just.
And we've been working on this for several.
We gotta add that to the agenda.
Yeah, Mary.
Yeah, we're gonna, so right now, there's a motion to accept the property quote, so it's gonna just be changed to accept the extension and to, accept Lords of London once amendments are made and approved next month.
All right.
Okay. All right, y'all good?
No, I'm good.
All right, thank y'all, appreciate it.
And I just wanted to update y'all real quick on current insurance stuff, just so you guys would know. For the wind policy that we do have out, we received about 6.3 million, and that's before any repair or construction cost. We have several bids that they're currently looking at that bids have been awarded on those buildings. Flood is about 1.4 million. I've got another 567,000 that's coming in too. And that's also before repair cost. And VFIS, which is our our fire station, sorry. That's about 2.3 million, and that also is before repair cost. And they are also in the process of looking at these bid packages and working those things out, so.
Okay.
No, and one other thing about what we were talking about a minute ago, we have talked to GOSEP and the insurance commissioner. They know what we are wanting to do. They have, I have long emails and dialogue, even Logan and I both do, on all this stuff. So they are aware of what we're asking you guys for, so.
That sounds good. We're already doing away with some buildings as it is, so.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to do what works for us now. What's working for us, it's gonna change, so, and we need to stay on top of that so that everybody gets the best coverage and we get the best premium.
Sounds good.
And we remain FEMA eligible. Every move we make, we gotta make sure they're signing off on it, which is done through the insurance commission.
Yes, sir.
That's key. We have no choice there.
Yes, sir. All right, we appreciate it, Mr. Logan. Wendy, thank y'all. All right, waste management contract. Ms. Bev, did you want to speak?
I'm really just here to answer any questions y'all might have. I brought a copy of the RFP with me, and we can go over whatever y'all need to go over on it, but, you know, we're proposing a new contract because the contract we currently have is one that was written with SSW. We inherited that contract. We just did it with an amendment to it. And so we'd like to have a new contract
You seen it?
going forward.
No, we have not seen their draft contract. So their current one ends March 28th. And so they were the lowest bidder for they were the only bidder for the request for proposals. And so we negotiated back and forth a few terms, and what's on the table is a 3-year contract at $16.25 a can, which is about $675,000 a year for residential house-to-house pickup. That's the best that they can offer, so it's either negotiate that contract with them and let Tom look through it and see if we can come to an agreement for the type of services. There are some things that were in your Southern Solid Waste contract that they may not be willing to honor, which is maintain an office in Cameron Parish, maintain a local phone number, liquidated damages, assessed for non-collection of cans within 24 hours. Those are the types of things I would expect that they may not want to put in their new contract, but we don't know until we start negotiating that contract. I don't believe they have contacted you yet, Tom, have they, about that?
Well, Bevan and I just spoke a moment ago, and I haven't seen the contract.
I haven't either.
All we're really looking at, or the discussions have been, is the cost per can and the extension of 3 years plus a 3-year option. Other than that, specifics have not been presented or even discussed.
I'd like for you to look it over and so we can discuss it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I thought
We
2
don't even
months
have
ago
a
we
draft
would
of
give y'all
it
a-
yet because we want it to match the services you request and what we're doing for you. So basically what I do is send all the information that I have from the past contract, the RFP, the specifications, and to our legal department. They draw up a contract. I'll get it to Tom as soon as I get it back and for his review, and I will put him in touch with our legal person that is handling that, and so they can go back and forth with any changes that anybody needs to make.
Okay, but get with Katie, so y'all can have a discussion, or she can see any changes that you may have in there that we need to see.
And I really need direction from you guys. I mean, are those 3 things that were in the original contract that were placed in there, are you gonna want is that a deal breaker for you? The office in Cameron, the local phone number, and the local phone number for residents to call when someone doesn't collect their trash.
Look, the
Yes.
local residents call us,
They call
and
us.
we call y'all, and y'all call Beverly. So that's pretty much how it works.
That's
I
how it
mean,
has been working.
well, I don't see why an office needs to be mandated in Cameron, and I
No.
don't see
You-
why
You did that under
local
your
phone
current
number.
contract. You just
Oh, I
did.
don't-
So if you
we
don't
don't-
want it, then we can take it out.
No,
Yeah.
we don't need all.
I don't see all
What
that
about-
being a,
We can have these discussions about provision this or provision that in these meetings. Would you consider a committee to meet with Katie and I to discuss these particular issues?
That'll, yeah, we could do
And
that.
then make recommendations to you rather than, we could spend an hour
Yeah,
or
that'd work.
more, but we need to get a contract. The first thing you've got to decide, do you want to go forward with the request for proposal? The contract with Waste Management terminates the end of March. If you say, Katie and Tom, yes, meet with Waste Management, get a contract, we can then start negotiating some of the nuances.
we haven't much choice, do we?
It's them or we do our own department and collect it in-house.
Yeah, it's them.
Yeah, we don't want to start that business.
We can go out for request proposals again, but that's
No,
90
they-
days and.
I've been there before, but we ain't got those same people back now that we had back in them days.
I think where we are
working
right
on
now
them.
is,
Truck-
we have, one company
Mr. Mayor.
offering to provide the service. We need, we need to start
Work a deal out.
negotiating some of the nuances of the contract, so, it sounds like you're gonna bless us to do that. Whether you want a committee or not, I think it'd be helpful to Katie and I to be able to meet with the committee rather than, and talk about some of those nuances of the contract rather than bringing it to the whole board. And then we have to wait a month before we even, have those discussions, so.
I
that would be
agree.
my
I
suggestion.
think the president and vice president ought to be on that committee.
Stipulations in there.
That'll work, Tom.
The vice president, I like those things.
I can do it anytime, or whoever the president is can
We can do that.
do
Deal with
that
y'all.
today, tonight.
Whoever it is.
No, the president can do it.
One of the
I
things
think
I'd like
it's
to see
the
on this
new
contract to do, there was some road skip this past week in Grand Lake again. They said they was coming the next day, they never showed up.
You
That's
can
been
assess
happening every
liquidated
week.
damages if you want to. Tom, did you? Yeah.
We're gonna, I think we
No, no,
need,
just sit up.
We'll get on that
I
together.
think we need to add some kind of provision in for that.
There is, in your current contract with them, the liquidated damages, but
And also, we don't have a speculation of where the trash
$50
can has to
per-
be put. But they're not picking up a can on one side of the road because they're on the other side. They pass right by it, and they leave it sitting there.
failure
don't have
to
a
collect
stipulation.
missed collections within 24 hours results in a $50 liquidated damage.
We'll probably
That's
pick
not
that
enough
up.
money,
$50, I think we need, some,
We've never done this before, which is
Specifications.
why we're gonna have to get Mr.
Rolled out.
Tom involved
We'll,
to see the legal.
We'll get a little committee and we'll hash all this out.
Yeah, that'll work.
Most of our contracts, I will tell you this, most of our contracts do have a clause like that, that we can be fined for not recovering within a certain amount of time. So I don't think our company will have an aversion to that.
Okay.
And I don't, we made exceptions on the RFP on the last page, some exceptions, and that was not one of them that we put in there.
okay.
All right. We good on
Any
that?
actions we had to take on that?
I don't think so. Mr.
No,
Tom said
no.
that the president can just appoint the subcommittee and we'll get with a meeting scheduled
And the contract will come back to y'all for final approval.
Okay.
Yeah, I just asked
in March.
the Waste Management, go ahead and provide that to your council and get us a contract, and we'll meet with the committee and get back to y'all.
Okay.
Thanks, Ms. Beverly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Beverly.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms.
very
Bev.
much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Review the agenda.
So while you review the agenda, I have an announcement, if you don't mind. The,
Don't say nothing bad.
no, this is actually just information dissemination. So the state of Louisiana is allocated disaster funds to do a state program, and they are looking at developing some sort of survivor housing, survivor plan. And so they named their project Restore Louisiana. And right now, they are asking for anyone that lived in Cameron Parish at the time of Hurricane Laura and they received a FEMA determined major or severe structural damage, or if they were received any type of FEMA funds, insurance funds, they all will be eligible for this. It doesn't mean they'll receive it, but they would be eligible to apply, and they are doing a survey right now, like an outreach. So in order to apply, you go to their website, which is restore.la.gov. And they have a 1-800 number if you need assistance. It is 866-735-2001. And if you complete their survey, the only thing you need is your insurance information and your FEMA ID number when you applied for FEMA help. And you can put all your information in there, and then once they develop the program, they will reach out to you and help to see if you qualify or not qualify. So that's
pretty
the
much
only
actually-
announcement. It's on our website, we have it on Facebook, and anyone can call our staff and we can get you to the correct website. But again, this is a state administered program. The parish is not administering, everything goes directly through GOSEP.
Who should we contact? Who to call? Point person.
You can call me.
Katie, okay. You asked for it.
Yep.
I ask this question almost every month. Our right of entry project program, where is it at? And is FEMA done reviewing?
Yeah. Do you want to get that update, Danny or Casey? You want me to take it? No. They're reviewing. They have a list. We have a working list that was submitted to FEMA. They're vetting it right now, but we do have a working list that we feel like we're able to start procuring a contractor if you guys would like, but with the caveat that you don't know if it's eligible or not eligible yet. So you procure a contractor and you start working on this list, whatever FEMA doesn't cover, the police jury has to cover.
Well, I thought y'all said that FEMA was reviewing that. And
We are reviewing it. If you wanted to go out for bid now, you could, or you wait till FEMA gives you your vetted list and what's on the list. We'll know exactly which ones are covered or not, and the ones that aren't on the list, then they.
That's what I was asking. How long is that wait on FEMA? That's what I was telling that guy earlier about. We keep waiting on FEMA.
We'll be having another hurricane, clean everything up.
It's all in review, and all the properties still haven't been vetted yet. There's almost 200 properties that have been required to, or applied, and there's under 100 that's been vetted. But there's a process, a lot of the landowners hadn't provided all the documentation. Like I said, you gotta dot your i's and cross your t's if you're gonna deal with FEMA. Because if they don't do it right, and we submit it, we're gonna end up eating the cost. So, we keep calling on it, it's in review, but it's not just our parish, it's all of Southwest Louisiana that's applying for this stuff. So it's just taking a while.
Woody, you think you can help us out on that, Woody?
I can try,
I mean, FEMA don't listen to us.
send me a list and I can see what I can do. So that's the best I can offer.
That's all I ask.
So we're gonna wait, see which ones are eligible for FEMA, one more month, see, hopefully get closer to obligation. No? Okay.
Review agenda?
Yep.
Then after review agenda, then we'll go to executive session.
Only question I got on the agenda, 17, what is 17? What order is it?
Yep. Okay, so item 17,
it's
personnel
in their
policy
packet,
changes.
Katie. It's in their packet.
Yeah, it's in your packet, but I'm gonna read it to you. It's very simple. We have a section 6.10 is hurricane evacuation. And the way it reads right now is in the event of an official hurricane evacuation, employees shall not be expected to report to work. However, they are expected to report to work within 2 hours of the lifting of an evacuation order, provided that the evacuation order is lifted by 12 noon. And then it goes on to say field personnel are expected to be available for work as soon as possible. What I'd like to propose to you guys is I want to remove this section, shall not be expected to report to work within 2 hours after, and just make it read, in the event of an official hurricane evacuation, Employees are expected to be available for work as soon as possible should there be a need to clear roads and bridges, and leave that determination in the hands of your department heads. Let them decide
Okay.
when it's appropriate for someone to report to work or not.
I agree with that. I agree with
'Cause-
that.
And just for the public, so whereas sometimes we say an evacuation for 3 months, and it's hard to get work done when employees aren't required to report to work. So that's the change.
Number 20, what is that money for?
We, every year, we give an allocation twice a year. It's to help fund the different programs that the LSU Extension Service does, with the kids, the shooting range, the gardens. We've done it for years. It's to help the 4-H and Extension programs, whether it be, hay for livestock, whatever they need. When Kevin comes, gives his report of what they've done throughout the year, this is what he's given it on to us, to show what they're using the funding for.
Any of that go to salaries?
No, sir. It's only for the extension programs. It's for the kids. I can give you a list, Mr.
We do a lot of
Legend.
educational material type
Yes.
stuff, like meeting
Right.
packets and.
It helps like at Camp Brett Walker, if we have kids that wanna go, for they meet in for the buses and stuff.
Some of that go like for these classes they teach, like the pesticide certifications, recertification.
No, I think this mainly goes for the kids'
Okay.
programs. Yes, sir.
Great.
Well, about number 29, what's this deal?
Hey, that's what I put on there, man.
Meeting
29,
dates.
meeting dates.
We had 3 months to study all this, and we voted on it to just leave it, right?
Yeah,
We
but
can
I,
change
but
it
I,
now.
because of my work schedule, it's just by one day off.
I don't get off. I take vacation, or I don't get paid every time I come here.
Well, I could take,
Why don't
I
we
got
change
vacation
that?
scheduled too, Kurt.
Just change it to
but-
Saturday. That way
No.
I'm off.
Well, whatever you wanna do.
Everybody
man.
be off.
It's just one day, it's either Thursday or Friday.
Pay the staff
But on
overtime.
Friday, and Friday's the staff rather than
I'm
on
here.
Friday anyway. The ones on Thursday go to Friday with them.
Hey,
So,
don't, I don't, I'm off.
Well, we can discuss it, we'll vote on it.
I work every day.
Yeah, we'll
So-
vote
I gotta take off.
From Miss Warnell.
on it. No, wait, who said that? You said it?
he works every day,
Oh, my God.
anyway.
Can't even get his deal.
Anything else?
I'm tired already.
You guys want to discuss item 13, the temporary food truck ordinance?
Let's extend it for a year.
And-
Here.
Well, you're gonna vote on it, but are there any questions?
What about, was it 6 months it has down there or a year?
6
months?
We-
6 months good.
Numbers are steadily going down every day, and.
6 months is
We
good.
have a couple businesses up and running, and then the rec center will possibly be up and running by then.
September?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be September 3rd,
Me
2022
too.
would be the new extension date.
Well, let's see, we can vote, extend it 6 months, and
6
wait and see,
months will be
wait and see
good.
where we are.
Yeah.
See where we at,
I'm good
6
with 6
months.
months.
Everybody's good with 6 months?
I guess the staff really would just like to know what direction you're gonna go in long-term. Is this something that you're gonna eventually make permanent, or do these
We need to
two
talk
food
to 'em
truck
about
vendors
elevating,
know
whatever we
that
gotta
there
do.
is an
No,
expiration
no,
date, they need to start
no.
investing?
They need
We,
to start.
last time we did this, we thought it was gonna be the last time. Now, we're gonna do it one more time and maybe one more time and then
They gotta make preparations, they gotta be making.
somebody gotta make
I
some
can't-
commitments.
I
mean,
can't
we-
speak for the rest of the jury, I can say only what I thought at the time. We had bad times, emergency times, we needed to do something, we stepped up to the plate, got the people the services we could get them now. Never was intended to be a permanent fix, okay, never was.
It sounds good.
And it's still in the village of Cameron only, it's no further out.
Right,
It's just
right,
in-
just right here, these two
And then
trucks
we
right
have the
here.
Cameron amenities, restaurant, store, and everything coming up.
Right.
Hopefully that'll be, won't be long.
So, yeah, we'll make a decision in September. To me,
Oh.
I'm like everybody else.
And remember this, Hollow Beach is carved out.
Yeah, if you get somebody to go. That's the thing.
Can't get
Y'all
it.
good?
I'm good.
So, you good, Katie? We need to adjourn this meeting, go into executive session?
Just let me, there's an add-on authority to advertise to remove section 8.11 of section 60 speed limits for beach areas and amend item 10, the property insurance quotes. It's the only difference to do as of right now.
Don't we have some other add-ons?
That's it, so.
What about appointment?
Oh, you have to say that.
I have to have an appointment to make for the water district. Need to
We're
add that
gonna
on.
do an add-on on appointments, on the appointments. We had someone resign, that Mr. Sonny just got notified, and already has someone to appoint. So it's gonna be for Waterworks 10, Wesley,
Roberts.
he resigned, so he wants to appoint.
Yeah, just need to do add-on for appointment.
I got one too. Well, Mr. Jude Primo resigned, and we y'all want me adding that on, Vicky Keefe would take his place.
Okay, hold on. What's that for, Mr. Scott?
Creel Water District.
Creo Waterworks?
Water.
That's number 7? Yeah, thank you. So Jude resigned, do we have a letter?
Yeah, I
from
think,
him?
Michelle, did Mr. Jude resign? Do we have a letter from him, or?
We can't.
No letter yet? Okay, if ain't no letter yet, okay. Don't worry about it then.
Okay.
All right, we're ready.
Nope, one more thing, just,
We're about to,
our architect's here, if you have any questions about the change orders, now would be a good time. It's pretty routine, change orders, none of them are significant in a dollar amount, a lot of them are actually decreasing. We're actually getting a lot of credits. And then the last thing is authority lift hire and freeze. We're requesting authority to replace a road crew member in Johnson Bayou, and we would ask for you to consider allowing us to hire another inspector, full-time
Advertise.
inspector.
Authority to advertise.
authority to advertise to hire another inspector.
Yes.
Okay.
We still have Miles, and we still have Randy as inspector, but we would like to bring in another inspector. Miles is gonna be out, for some sick leave over the course of the year, and then he can retire by early next year, so we'd like to go ahead and.
Retire. You have to apply for retirement.
You don't have to.
No, Randy,
You don't
hey, look, I
have
got
to get it
this.
approved,
Hey, look,
all you gotta do
hey,
is apply.
we need to vote right now on the executive session, then take 5, or what?
No, we just go 5 minutes.
Terminate your agenda meeting, go
Adjourn
into your
this one.
special meeting, and then vote.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn this meeting, we'll take a 5-minute pause for worthy pause. Any adjourn.